I'm really glad to be here, I think, for the fifth, sixth time since I'm working for EAPA. And it's always a pleasure to be here and to support Slovenia in his activities national-wide and also mentioned by our president before, European-wide. So I have a 4+ presentation prepared for today. 4 means I have 4 topics from Brussels for you, Brussels and a little bit beyond, and the plus. So keep curious about what the plus could be. The 4 topics is decarbonization, war mix asphalt. We heard a lot about this before. We have circularity, of course, and asphalt 4.0. So I will go a little bit more into those topics. So this is the European Green Deal from 2019 to decarbonize, to have a circular economy, and to have sustainable products in our everyday lives. This is not only for asphalt or for the industry, it's for our everyday lives. But what does that mean for the Asphalt Association? So in 2019, there was this European Green Deal. And we already answered on the same spot in an event in the European Commission that the asphalt industry is already prepared because we are really circular. We reuse a lot of material. Maybe we are the most reused material in the construction world. So this is something to build on. And based on this, a lot happened throughout the coming years. You see all the documents from EAPA, and I will especially focus on the 4 topics that I mentioned before. So let's start with the roadmap to net zero. That was released last year in Budapest during the E&E Congress. And what is the goal? So the goal is, where were we in 1990? So this is always the benchmark when we talk about reductions. Where are we now? Where will we be in 2030 and 2050? And what are the measures to be taken? So this is something where EAPA and our partners from the national associations, we have a clear view on how to continue in this field. So a lot has been mentioned this morning in a session about EPDs and about circularity and about the different steps, cradle to grade, and even when it comes to the end of life of a pavement. And you see here, especially on that part of the chart, you see the circularity. So you see whenever the material comes into the road, from the raw materials to the production side, then it becomes a circle because we use this material that is in the road in the process again. We never want to have it here in the disposal. And in all of these steps, you can calculate the CO2, the embedded or the appearing CO2 emissions. And when you do it with the tools that have been presented this morning, and we use the Norwegian EPD tool to do that for an average European asphalt, we come to CO2 emissions of 65 kilograms of CO2 emissions per ton of asphalt. And this is embedded for the cradle to gate with the steps A1, A2, A3. So that's 53 kilograms per CO2 emissions. But how can we come to reduce this? First of all, I have to mention that this morning was also presented that Eurobitume has provided a new LCI. So that means the figures that we currently have in our document, which is published, have to be updated. Marco also mentioned that the Germans are working on this. The figures are approved, they are there, so the document will come soon. But that also means when one of the suppliers increases, or when the impact of one of the products we use, or from the original raw materials increases from that figure to another figure, that also has an impact of the CO2 emissions of the product. So it went up from 65 to 80 kilograms per CO2 equivalents, so we have to manage that. And the principles that appear here are the same. So you also seen this chart already in the video that Slovenko provided, and there are a lot of possibilities how we can really decarbonize the asphalt product. So starting with the situation in 1990, the situation that we currently have, a lot has already been done in the last 20, 30, 40 years. And when you look at what is the plan for 2050, we see a lot of steps, and we also saw that, for example, circularity, so reuse of reclaimed asphalt, gives a lot of reduction. When we have different fuels at the asphalt mixing plant, Marco mentioned this morning, where are the biggest benefits to gain? And this is during the raw material side, and this is also during the production side. The transport, green transport, gives a lot of revenue. And all the other steps at the final end lead up to, or sum up to, a reduction of almost 100%. Until 2050, there's still a long way to go. We have still 25 years. We will have new developments, we will have new technologies, we have new innovations. So this path will be a path that is possible for the future. We still see potential for innovations, so we will definitely come to minus 100% at a certain point. But this is not only something for the asphalt industry. Of course, the asphalt industry has to do its homework. But there's also the governments and the road authorities to support this. And here's also the engagement that EAPA asks for the different stakeholders. So to push for permits and incentivize sustainable solutions, enable the use of new technologies, adopt green public procurement, life cycle analysis. This is something that the road authorities have to do and support us in this. What the asphalt industry has to do is to optimize circular production, undertake process development, and adopt Asphalt 4.0 sustainability technologies. But also other sectors are part of it. Our suppliers have to also produce carbon-neutral materials. We have to enable green energy sources so that the cars are really electrified, or or are driven by green hydrogen or other means of transportation. And also the decarbonized automotive industry. So this is not in our hands, so this is something we have to rely on, that others go forward with that. Another topic here is the warm mix asphalt. It was mentioned before, low temperature asphalt, temperature reduced asphalt. And there's a lot of points that are related with this. Some regulation issues from some country, some regulations on stack emissions, lower fuel consumption. So if we reduce temperature, normally we should also reduce energy, which is also CO2 efficient. We produced several documents on this for road authorities, for the industry themselves. And you can also already see that in Europe there's a big uptake in the production of warm mix asphalt. And the figures that EAPA provides, the asphalt in figures, you see that we are currently almost with 20 million tons of asphalt in the European production, of a total production of around 300,000 tons. So we are close to 10%, let's say 8 to 10%. So it's on its way. And some countries are really gaining speed in this. And when I look at the regulations that are supposed to come very, very soon, for example, in Germany, there will be no hot mix asphalt anymore, because the regulation is purely based on the new asphalt, which is warm. So it's still called asphalt, it's exactly the same, a different production, but it is warm. And then we have this reduced impact on emissions and on energy. So this is something that will definitely come. And maybe in a few years, we will talk about what is the rest of hot mix asphalt in Europe production and not what is the amount of warm mix asphalt production we have currently. The latest approaches from EAPA in this sense is to publish these documents in 2024, to have a webinar which was taking place 2 weeks ago, and to have a workshop in 2026, the day before the E&E event in Vienna. This was the Asphalt Warm Mix webinar on the 12th of November this year. You see we have four presenters there presenting the experiences from Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, and UK, so to say, the most experienced countries. So they did not explain what is warm mix asphalt. They did talk about how do they implement it in the countries, what are the challenges, what are already the gains, what are already the positive effects that we see, and what is positive to be mentioned. You can find the full video of this webinar on the EAPA YouTube channel. There are also other YouTube videos available, for example, on the International Road Maintenance Day or on Asphalt 4.0. Another topic, the third of the four, is the circularity. And circularity, circular economy, is the reuse of material. It's not the recycling of material, because recycling is not good enough. Reuse of materials. So asphalt should go back into asphalt with its full functionality, because asphalt is not a black rock. Asphalt is a material that's covered with bitumen, and that has an impact on the asphalt. So it's not a black rock, and we should not treat it like this. And if you look at the figures of the European producers, you see that from the available reclaimed material, already more than 75% are reused. 20% are reclaimed, and we don't know what happens with the rest. So we are very, very good in this, and we put asphalt back into asphalt, which is the important part. What we need for this is an information about how to treat the existing asphalt from the roads. If we mill it off, if we take it out of the existing road, what happens with the declaration? Is it a waste? Is it a byproduct? Or is it a new product? And some countries in Europe already managed to have an end-of-waste criteria for this, but some countries not. And the European Commission starts looking into this, because they also have to become circular. They also have to provide regulations to do this, to make this Green Deal happen. And they provide regulation. And when you look at this document, this pie chart here, and you look at the next chart, you see that our documents and our publications from EAPA is used on slides of the European Commission. And the guy on the picture here is the responsible person in Europe, in the European Commission, for the end-of-waste criteria. So we are on their scorecard, we are there, we tell them what the industry can provide and already is able to do, so that we hopefully will get the best regulation in our point of view and not in the point of view of the Commission, because sometimes they have crazy ideas. So we are working on this. Here are the three documents that I mentioned before. Also, there's a very comprehensive document available for EAPA members with all the information that we collected throughout the process when we produced these documents. And the fourth is the Asphalt 4.0. It was also mentioned before, but what was the idea for EAPA to really take Asphalt 4.0 into consideration? We see that there's a need for a need to push the innovation in our industry, to become more attractive, to get attractive for the young people we are lacking in our industry. So we have to show that the industry is an interesting industry, an innovative industry, and has a future. So automatization, digitalization, and artificial intelligence are closed door, or if not to say already in our industry, but we have to use it. This morning we had presentations from one of the members of SAS and EAPA, and they already showed what is possible. We created an Asphalt 4.0 committee 5 years ago. We also support the international conference on Asphalt 4.0 together with SAS and ASEFMA, the Spanish association. The next one will most probably be in Germany, will be held in Germany. The last one was again in Madrid, and we also had one in Ljubljana last year. So we are supporting this. And of course, we want to put down all this information in a document. And this is a document you can see here on the right-hand side, which is highly appreciated all over the world. Because we are pushing from European side this topic, and we hope not, and it is also picked up from other parts, but I will come to this later. So you also saw this nice graphics before, and I don't want to go into detail. You can read the large highlights yourself, but it's very important to see that we have a three-pillar approach for the Asphalt 4.0. We have these digital technologies that you all know. We have the digital management of the data and of the sources, and we have the customer experience. And it took a long time for me to understand what the customer experience is, but the easiest solution for you to explain it, when you want to have a ride from A to B, you use an Uber app or a taxi app. You just type it here and you get whatever you want. If you want to transfer money, you use your banking app here. If whatever you do, you are used to use this material, this device. Who's using that on an asphalt mixing plant? Who's using that on a job site? Who's using the iPad to be digital, to have all the data available? We've seen there are solutions in a presentation this morning, but the industry is very, very reluctant. We have a culture, we did it like this for 20, 30, 40, 50 days. Why should we change? We have to change because we are lacking the people. We have to develop, we have to become more efficient, we have to become more effective also, and this is the tools for the future. We should really be prepared and we should start working with this. Why is this also interesting in the rest of the world? I was in the Global Asphalt Pavement Alliance meeting just this autumn in Chicago because there was an international sustainability conference where I presented the roadmap to net zero of EAPA. And there was another presentation on Asphalt 4.0, and I thought people will pick up more the sustainability part, but it was the Asphalt 4.0. And they invited me again to come there and to present what we are doing, what is the approach that we have in Europe. So this is the Global Asphalt Pavement Alliance. EAPA is a strong member of it, together with the North Americans, together with Australia, with Japan, with South America, South Africa. We have also the Middle East now, with Saudi Arabia being part of it. So we exchange there in the asphalt industry, and I can tell you the challenges are all the same all over the world. And it's good to have this exchange. It really, really helps us. And we have also produced, we have a website, we also produced a magazine, which you can also download on the website. So this is, even outside Europe, we are cooperating to bring also this information to the European level. Yes, and this is the plus, so I mentioned these 4 topics, and this is the plus here. This is the communication. I could talk for hours on communication because it's absolutely necessary. We do so many good things in our industry. We reuse material on a high level. We are reducing temperature. We take care of our workers. We have the possibility to innovate, to show a digital future. But we also have to communicate and we have to talk about. And we do not only have to talk about it inside our bubble in the asphalt industry. We need to communicate it to the outside world. The road gives possibilities. The road is not a problem. The road is the solution in the future. And we can talk about this in lengthiness, but the road will still be needed. And before we start flying, we will need the road. And it will look like this, and it's already there. It's there. We have to maintain it. We can keep it in a good sustainable way because we can repair it. We can reuse the material and put our material back into the road. We don't need new materials, not so many new materials in the future. So this is the good information. We already have things here. And this is something which is very sustainable. Young people don't want to work in an industry that is not sustainable. And if we show how sustainable we are, how to communicate to the outside world, the road is a solution. It's a social network. It was the first social network. We mentioned that before. We have to do that. And one aspect of this is the Roadcast. It's a podcast from EAPA where we talk with young researchers, where we talk to industry leaders, where we show the future of asphalt paving with the Asphalt 4.0. We have a very nice podcast on this. So I want to make you curious to listen to this and to also support and spread the word about the good developments that we have in the asphalt industry, in the road industry as such, to be sustainable and to be innovative and to also have a good future. We will discuss about these possibilities and the opportunities and the already achieved things and the challenges of the future in the E&E event next year in Vienna. We mentioned that already before, so hopefully we will see many of you there. Alongside with this, we will have a workshop on warm mix asphalt. That's the take-up of the latest findings of the webinar that we just had 2 weeks ago. And even one day before, our colleagues from the International Bitumen Emulsion Forum also have a one-day seminar. So if you want to see the full picture of the new technologies, of the topics of the industry currently and in the future, and also the colleagues who are coming more from the surface, Vienna is a good place to be in next June. Thank you so much for having me again. Thank you, Slovenko, for the invitation.
Thank you, Carsten.